PHH Solicitors are your local Falco solicitors. PHH pride themselves on providing a personal and friendly service to local residents and businesses on all aspects of legal work. Whether it's buying or selling a house, making a will, dealing with family issues or advice about medical negligence and personal injury, PHH are the people to speak to. With offices just around the corner from Highbury Stadium and also Cleveland's, the legal advice you need is right on your doorstep. Alternatively, you can call them on 01253 824 216 or find them online at phhsolicitors.co.uk. Hello and welcome back to the CodCast, your official Fleetwood Town podcast hosted by me, Ben Natman. Today we are joined by PA announcer Rod Allsworth. Rod, thank you for joining me.
My pleasure. Thanks for asking me.
Now, recently celebrated 500 games behind the microphone at Fleetwood Town. Unbelievable opportunity that you first got into, 500 games down the line. Did you ever envisage that there'd be 500 games that you would do?
Never in a million years. Never in a million years.
When you hit that 500 game, did you know it was coming? Do you kind of count them as they go along, or how do you keep track of them?
I do, interestingly, because I think it's always important to look back on your first game and maybe your last game. And we go back to 2007 for the first game. So it's taken me, what are we talking, 18 years to get 500 games done?
How did it come about for you to come and work at the football club?
Strange. I'd fallen out with Blackpool. I got fed up of the Oystons, and I'd got some mates who were Fleetwood fans who they're sort of known as the boys on the fence, they were known, and we sponsored a couple of games as well. And I knew Daz Martindale's dad, David, who interestingly is a milkman who used to deliver his milk in a hearse, which is a great story. And I bumped into Daz at the ground one day and he says, we're looking for someone to read the teams out. Do you fancy it? And I had a meeting with various people and I didn't dive into it because it's an opportunity that I wanted to have a little bit of uniqueness about it. And thought long and hard and I thought, right, goal celebration music's coming in. Other teams use things like Glad All Over. Let's be a little bit unique. What music is to do with a seafaring town? And I came up with Captain Pugwash. And Pugwash we still use today. It's loved by home fans, absolutely hated by away fans.
Yeah.
But it's unique to Fleetwood Town. You know, how long we use it for, nobody knows, but for the time that I'm here, it's an integral part of what we do.
When you say about falling out of love with Blackpool and coming to Fleetwood, was it crucial for you that if you were going to take something on, you wanted to be full for it, you wanted to feel like you were enjoying what you were watching? No. Everything like this is a challenge, isn't it? You want what you do to be the best. So when I came in here, I wanted a point of difference, and that's where Pugwash came in. We'd got something that when Fleetwood Town scored, there was a bit of celebration music and people could attach themselves to it. Yeah, absolutely. And that Captain Pugwash, I think that supporters go away from that ground every week complaining about it. But as long as you hear it in the ground, Fleetwood have obviously scored a goal and within a chance of winning the game of football. That's all that matters. What was the PA system like? You know, you think 18 years ago now. It's not probably going to be as good as it is today, is it?
I think the first game was on one of those things that you press a button and shout through. What are they called? Sam Fielding's in the room. Help me, Sam. Mono something or other. Just very, very basic. And then things got better and better and better. We put a little sound system on the back of the old stand. And then we moved into the containers on the opposite side of the ground. We actually had a CD player in there. And it also kept me warm in the winter as well. But it was just improvements all the way through. And then as the club got bigger and bigger and bigger, and the plans were in place for the new stadium, Steve Kerwood took us to a couple of grounds that were basically doing the same as us, having new grounds. We went one Saturday. We went to St Mirren to look at the sound system there, amongst other things, what they did, and then we also had a trip to Morecambe to see how they were doing things on the PA system, and we just took on board what they were doing and then put our own slant on it.
What was your opinions of when the plans were in place? Because obviously Andy was joined a few years prior to that 2007, your first game. You know, when Andy was saying, we're going to do this, we're going to do this, obviously you as a kind of a PA announcer, you know, new to the football club, were you thinking, this is never going to happen? Where it first started, where the football club lies today?
It's a really good question. When you're part of it, I think you just go with the flow.
Yeah.
I don't think you spend too much time thinking about it. You know, I come in here on a match day, the same as what I've always done, 1:45, 5:55, I'm in my car, I've gone. And you don't see me much more than a match day, that's it. So I didn't really think about it that much. I think the excitement first came when you saw the bricks and mortar going up and all this sort of thing, and you saw something coming out of the ground over a period of time. And I'd normally come in on a Friday to see what had happened the previous week, and it just became more and more and more exciting.
You mentioned that about having the same match day routine. Can you talk me through what you may do in kind of on a match day?
Yeah, I get in about 1:45. The boys have got a script lined up. We go through the script. We go through the timings of the script to make sure we're all singing from the same hymn book. We're actually quite slick with it at the moment. It's taken probably 18 years, but yeah, we all know what we're doing, and I have absolute trust in the guys. And yeah, I think the output we do is reasonably good.
Some of the names over the years have probably been difficult. We mentioned a few off there, obviously last season, the likes of Kelvin Abachaman. Is there any over the years that you think have been very difficult for you to pronounce, where you thought, might need a little bit of help for that before we play them?
Yeah, what I always do is I sit down with the media team, and we break it into bits on the wording, and you find that the media teams, when they come here from the opposition, are brilliant with you, that they know the difficulties, they know that some of their names are difficult, and by breaking it down just makes it easier. We normally break it into 3 bits.
Yeah. Absolutely, I could probably do with some lessons with that, because I'm not the brilliant at pronunciations of the names. Talk to me away from football. What was your life like away from the PA system?
I've had a great time. I was a DJ for. I was at a contract with Mecca for 7 years. I did things like the Miss UK, and not on the television side, but on the side that was the occasion. And then got married. Got a proper career. I've worked in dairy for forever and I absolutely loved it. I retired about 3 years ago. That's basically it.
Brilliant. Now, 500 games is a lot. If we're going to go through some key moments in those games, talk to me some about your proudest moments. Wembley being one. You know, did the PA there? What was something like that like?
That was funny because Mr. Kerwood got in touch with me on the day before, and he said, just to let you know, you'll be bringing the team out at Wembley. I said, okay, fine. So he said, but you've got to have 10 interesting facts to read out over the sound system at Fleetwood, at Wembley. Okay, where are we going to find them 10 interesting facts? So we held a meeting on Friday afternoon late on here to try and come up with 10 interesting facts about Fleetwood. If I threw the question back at you to say, can you name 10 interesting things about Fleetwood, honestly, you struggle. So I think we managed to come up with 4, and then we decided to call a halt under it. So if I can remember back, I think Fleetwood is it's one of very, very few clubs that hasn't got its own train station nearby.
Yeah.
We've got Fisherman's Friend in the area. Can't remember the third one, but the fourth one, we were really scratching the barrel, honestly. John Lennon came to Fleetwood for his holidays in 1964. And after that, we thought, that's it. So we did 4, and that was it.
I think I could only probably make up one of that. I think Phoenix Nights recorded a little bit one of their
Did
scenes
they?
in Fleetwood. It's meant to be in Blackpool, but you see he's up on the front there. I think that as well, the Euston as well, that obviously the train used to go from London Euston to Fleetwood. But other than that, I'll be scratching the barrel really before bringing it back to football. So you're at Wembley. Is your match day routine any different because it's got during London, big game?
The club were awesome with us. So for the staff, they hired Newcastle United's team coach. And that was just a brilliant occasion down at Wembley. They threw a nice one in as well. I've got 2 boys. I took my youngest son with me, and he enjoyed all the Wembley occasion as well. But there was another little twist to it as well, because my wife worked at Hambleton Primary School. And I don't know if you know, but when Fleetwood Town were at Wembley, Hambleton Primary School were at Wembley. So through the club here, the club organised that the 6 or 7 lads that were playing, and I think 4 or 5 members of staff went down on the Friday and stayed at Wembley in a hotel, and then they played their game against AFC Wimbledon, where the lad that plays for Germany now played in the game, begins with an M.
Oh, Musiala.
Yeah, so he played against Hambleton Primary.
Yeah.
And Fleetwood did really, really well, because Hambleton Primary in that year, they only had about 8 lads in the year. And they managed to get to Wembley. On the way, they beat teams like Sheffield United, Stoke, Sheffield Wednesday. And it was just bizarre that I'm there and my wife's there.
Yeah. My friend and Fleetwood supporter, Josh Taylor, somehow he gets into the team, played in that team.
Did he?
So he always goes on about playing against Musiala. I think that he might have got turned out a few times inside out. Reading the team news out, was that kind of, that would have been 2014, wasn't it? 7 years on from where you come from. It's bizarre how...
Crazy. It's bizarre. You know, I've said that if anybody wanted to make a film about what I did, Northern Premier League to League One last year in what, 16 years, something like that. It's crazy. It doesn't happen. It's never happened before. It'll never happen again. And being part of that was just awesome.
What was that where you were sat like at Wembley, being there compared to being where you were at Highbury Stadium?
Oh no. Honestly, it was nothing what you're thinking. So we get to Wembley. The club or Wembley or the Football Association had provided seats for us to dine in the Bobby Moore Suites. Before that, we met the stadium announcer, who was a really, really friendly guy, who showed us all the way around the ground before we ate. We did a run through as well beforehand about what you were going to do. He was just awesome, very, very helpful. And then they briefed that you would be with the Burton announcer, I think about 2:05, something like that, where you'd be reading out your 10 interesting facts about Fleetwood, and you'd be interested and read it out the Fleetwood Town lineup.
Have you made connections, like you say, you met the Burton announcer? Have you met other announcers maybe on when you've played teams away from home or at different games?
We have a WhatsApp group.
Oh, lovely.
So we all keep in touch, and we all compare notes with what we're expected to do and what we're not expected to do. But yeah, we all keep in touch. The Bolton guy I'm pretty friendly with, Blackpool guy. Yeah, we all just mark at Morecambe. Yeah.
Is it something that you relish then? Like
yeah. I just want us to be the best. You know, there's a phrase going around the club at the moment, and that is the best that you can be. And I just want us to be the best that we can possibly be. It doesn't matter whether we get 2,000 gates or 62,000 gates. I'm sure the thing that we put out on a match day is as good as anybody's.
2007, you mentioned it was an eventful game for your first game. Do you want to tell us a little bit about what happened in there? Because you think that as your first game as a stadium announcer, it's a lot happened, didn't it?
They played Frickley in the Northern Premier League. Okay, so we're talking now level 3, is it? Something like that, level 4. Fleetwood 2, Frickley Athletic 2. That's half the story. So Danny Hurst, the goalkeeper, gets sent off. And who goes in goals? And I think, if I'm right, saved a penalty. Pondy.
What can that man not do, eh? What can that man not do? Been on here as well.
So, but yeah, that finished 2 apiece. Ask me anything else, I couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
I've kept the press cutting from the first game, and the pug wash thing got mentioned in the story, which I was dead chuffed about. Yeah, if you ask me anything more about any games, I am awful at memorising things. 500
games, a lot has happened. We've played some big teams at Highbury and away from Highbury. If you had to go quickly through them, what games ring a bell to you that you thought, unbelievable game for the football club?
I just think, when you're playing teams like Sheffield United away and beating them, I'll be honest, I didn't go to the game. But I went to Stoke this season, and Fleetwood, a place like Stoke City, the traditions and the history, it's just absolutely immense. They get 25,000 people through the doors every week, and are passionate like we are here, but in a much bigger scale.
Yeah.
And I think the penalty from what's he called, is still travelling.
Oh, I think Meepo had one. I think we missed out for the penalty, didn't we? I think it was only Bonds who scored his penalty.
Oh God, that penalty was the worst I've ever seen.
Yeah, it was. We haven't got a great record for penalty kicks of Fleetwood over the years.
But how proud that little Fleetwood are going to, teams like this, and we're all part of social media. We read things, and we get slaughtered at Fleetwood for taking 104 fans away or something like that. Don't know why, because if we took 3,000 fans away, we wouldn't get any more points for it.
Exactly.
It's ridiculous.
You're preaching to the choir. I'm a big believer of that. And over the years, you just think in the last 5 or 10 years, gone away at Coventry, won twice, 1-0 and 2-1.
Kean Bolger scored there, didn't he?
Yeah, won 2-1 there under Stephen Presley. Sheffield United won twice there.
Yeah.
Won away at Derby. These big football clubs at big levels, even at League Two, going away at Notts County and should have come away with 3.
Yeah, should have done.
So even clubs like Bradford City, who have been at a higher level, and I'll always remember Docs. Everybody at Fleetwood will know Docs. A Bradford City fan bumped into him, and outside the ground when first, I think it was the first away game after Torquay at home in League Two. Oh, you're in the big boys league now. Well, Fleetwood haven't won League One for 10 years, while Bradford have been in League Two for 6 years. That just shows you the development of Fleetwood, doesn't it? And how far this football club has come since you've been involved, especially.
Well, take that as an example, the Bradford City thing. What's our average gates? Being
3.
kind, about 3.5. Bradford City, 18,000. They've got something like 16,000 season ticket holders. But it don't make them any better than us. No. It doesn't. We're punching way, way, way above our weight. Way above.
Yeah, absolutely, and I love that as well. That I love going away to these big grounds. I think I went away at Fratton Park last year, and it was 0-0 after about 25 minutes, and the crowd were getting up, and you could almost feel like we're coming here and we're unsettling the crowd. And I thought we're getting through to half. That minute later, they get a penalty kick, but we end up drawing the game and coming away thinking, well, our record at Fratton Park in recent years, I think we'd only lost like 1 in our last 6 at Fratton Park, which when you go to these big grounds, is unbelievable. If I had to ask you some of the grounds that you've been to with Fleetwood, on different away days, you said you've been to Stoke, what would you say has been kind of the best ground you've been to with Fleetwood?
Okay, the problem I have on a Saturday is most Saturday nights I'm working somewhere. So the opportunity to go away isn't that great. If it's somewhere where I can get back for 7 to get ready and make myself look beautiful for 8, do it. But a lot of the time, it's just not possible.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, we'll go through a team then with you, because we've had a lot of good players over the years. 18 years, there's probably now at least 400 players to choose from. If you had to go through an 11 with you, start off in goals, who would be your goalkeeper and a reason why?
Scott Davis.
Scott Davis, yeah. Craig came back to the club and coached as well.
I like a goalkeeper that imposes himself. I like a goalkeeper that's fearless, and I like a goalkeeper that's a bit of a nut job.
Yeah.
And Scott Davis, as well as being an unbelievable saver of shots, is as good as anything we've had.
Yeah.
I have to also just tag in here that since Jay Lynch has come back into the side this season, I think he's been pretty good as well.
Yeah, I think Fleetwood over the years, you look at the goalkeepers that we've had in kind of Scott Davis, Chris Maxwell, Alex Cairns, Jay Lynch has been decent since coming back into the football club as well. David Harrington, first full season. We've always been quite lucky and fortunate with the goalkeepers that we've had, and sometimes they may have lacked height, but they've always kind of imposed themselves, haven't they, the goalkeepers as well. So, yeah, Scott Davis came back to the football club and coached as well. And, what are you going for kind of a 3-back or a 4-back?
I'm going for a 4, but I also want to throw into the pot that when I first started, we had Danny Hurst here.
Yeah.
And Danny Hurst at Northern Premier League level was as good as anything there was about.
I think we've always done well with that, haven't we, over the years? That always made sure we've had decent players and good players at the level that we're at. And a lot of the players have always stepped up. Pondy, for example, has always stepped up the level as well. So go on, run me through your back line.
Okay, right back Louis Coyle, just a superb defender, part of a big sporting family across in Hull.
Yeah.
I just thought he was top of the tree when we were going for the playoffs and things like that. He was just excellent.
There's not many players that you have on loan for 2.5 years and then permanent for 6 months, is there? But Louis Coyle almost felt like a Fleetwood player from day one. And to replace a player like a Conor McLaughlin, for example, who was fantastic for the football club for a number of years, I can see where you're going from that. Centre backs.
Well, hang on, just touch on Louis Coyle as well. He was, when we missed out on the playoffs, I could never understand Joey's thinking on that final game against Wycombe, because Louis Coyle had been the right back all season. Danny Andrew had been ever present. I turn up for the game, and we've got, I can't remember who was at right back.
Morris.
Yeah, Louis Coyle at left back. Danny Andrew sat next to me, and I still don't get that at all.
No, I'll always remember, for me, that there's a lot of there's a lot of accountability on Alex Cairns that made a couple of mistakes, saved a penalty and got man of the match in the next game. Paddy Madden got sent off. We had another sending off. I think Louis Coyle got sent off that game as well. Yeah. A lot of people get mentioned those, but then you think Danny Andrew and Louis Coyle were probably the most consistent players in the team all season.
Yeah.
And I think that maybe have lost us a little bit against an organised, well set up Wycombe side as well. Yeah. Centre backs.
My two assassins are Steve McNulty and Pondy.
Never know, any doubt.
Steve McNulty was probably the best centre half that I have ever seen.
Yeah.
He was just a big lad, but he sort of got over the fact that he didn't look like a sportsman, but he was just the most awesome centre back that this club's ever had, and his mate next to him was just as awesome. But they were a set of thugs, the pair of them.
Yeah, I think the thing is with Steve McNulty is, if you ask the clubs that he's been at for a period of time in Fleetwood, Luton or Tranmere, who we actually play tomorrow as recording this, is everybody would sing his praises and say the exact same things, and that is when you know you've got a good pro at your football club. Pondy has been here ever and a day. He's been an absolute club legend for Fleetwood. Every level he's stepped up. If you could sum up Pondy briefly, how would you sum up Pondy if nobody had ever met him or heard of him?
Yeah. He's 39 now. Last season in the under-21s, when he was like the overage player, he even stood out at that level. You know, he got the two young lads like Will Johnston, I think, was playing, and I can't remember the other centre half was. Oh, it would have been Caden. But he made them look brilliant because of his organisational capabilities.
Yeah.
And at 39, being able to still do it at a decent level is awesome.
he's pretty much done everything for the football club, hasn't he? He's played in multiple different positions, scored some big goals as well. Did he get a flick on it at Wembley? You know, he's still sometimes has a claim on that. Then obviously, I think he scored away at Bradford, didn't he? Away at 2-2.
Probably.
And you know, again, scored some great goals. Has some great memories. If you're going to a midfield,
No, my left back.
Oh yeah, your left back. Yeah.
Charlie Taylor.
Yeah.
Charlie Taylor, top lad, top player, still doing it at a great level today. I think he came here as a boy and went away from here as a man. Honestly, he was just awesome while he was here.
I think John Parkin and Ryan Cresswell told a story of they used to car school with Charlie and basically used to prank him all the time. And they went how he's got grown up in that year. So they take a bit of accountability for him to go on and play the Premier League. I think they do as well. But I don't think I've seen it as good a player as Charlie Taylor in a defensive mind. That I think he was excellent for Fleetwood. Great going forward, good defensively, and to have the career that he has with Leeds and then going on to Burnley especially as well. If you had to go into a midfield, are we going for?
Well, hang on. There's two others that were borderline with Charlie that I'll give special wording to. Danny Andrew in his 2 bits here was superb, but then we signed Alan Wright. We signed Alan Wright. I think he was 38 when he came here, and I thought, oh God, it's another payday for somebody. Alan Wright was excellent while he was here.
I think Danny Andrew is probably one of the most underappreciated players I've ever seen in a Fleetwood shirt. If you think it's over 200 games, I think it's in the top 3 in the most EFL appearances for Fleetwood. And then obviously Alan Wright to still play at 38, and especially in a fullback position where it's quite technologically, you've got to get forward, you've got to bomb on, you've got to again be quite athletically fit. 38 is phenomenal. Well,
that was Conference North when he was here, wasn't it? I think.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think so. Are you midfield 3 or midfield 4? 3.
Sars.
Legend.
I've got a real interest in midfield because there's a bit of everything in there. So Sars, my first one. I wouldn't say he pulled the game together with amazing passes or anything like that, but he was always on the end of something. His goal scoring was, for a midfield player, phenomenal, and that's why he'd always be in my team.
Sars, the winning goal at Wembley taken away, I think he got 14 goals in League Two that year, and then the next season his goal tally wasn't as great, but was playing further back, and promotion winner. I think he's won 5 promotions, could be 6 this year as well with Bradford. And I think that he's loved at a lot of clubs that he's been at. England C international as well. Who else is
Jamie Maguire.
Maguire, okay.
Okay, he's my hustler in midfield. He's me nastiness, but he can also play as well, right? When we were going through the leagues, there was him and there was Steve Connor alongside him that frightened the living daylights out of people. He was horrible to play against, and he's a very important part of my 11.
Wind-up merchant as well, but a good one as well. The one that, like you said about Pugwash, if he's yours, you'll love it. Yeah. If he's not, it's like, oh.
He shouldn't be on the pitch.
Yeah, exactly. Get him off as well. Any other names that get into that final midfield spot?
My last one is the magician, Jamie Milligan. Just the best midfield player I think I've ever seen at the level we're talking about. Never wasted a ball. Great goal scorer. I'm not sure, did he ever miss a penalty? That's a good question. So my midfield 3, I've got my goal scorer, my hard nut, and my technician.
Yeah.
What a midfield.
Perfect, and the goal on the halfway line, I think, was it Farsley Celtic against as well?
Again, got called off.
And I remember Milligan used to coach me when I was prime. Said I was the worst footballer I've ever seen. So he's not making my midfield 3. You're not making mine. As soon as, because he was trying to get him on the CodCast, I was like, that'd be awkward. But no, he's a great lad, proper Northern lad as well, and proper, knows what he gets to be a Fleetwood player as well. And again, got into coaching on his own pathway as well. Are we going for 2 wingers?
Oh no, we're not messing about with wingers. No, we're going for goals this team.
Yeah, proper centre forwards.
So in the midfield there was a real candidate that people will have forgotten, but I thought he was awesome for Fleetwood, and that was Peter Kavanagh.
Okay.
When we were coming through the Conference North and the Conference, we signed him as a right back, and he was okay. They pushed him into midfield, and he was just fantastic.
Yeah.
Really, really good.
There's so many names you could mention that over the years have been brilliant for Fleetwood, you know, especially in maybe the last 3 or 4 years that even though the club has halted a little bit in League One and League Two, there's still been key performers in there as well, Bossanoa, Brendan Wirradu, etc. You say 3 centre forwards, now Fleetwood have had some good ones. Genuinely, when we signed him from Scunthorpe, couldn't believe we've got him. He scored some massive goals for us. Just a few words on Pad.
Paddy was electric. Paddy was the sharpest 6-yard box prowler I think we've ever had here. If anything came across 6 yard, it was in. But then, over a period of time, that sharpness in the 6-yard box, I thought went, and he was snatching at things. When he left us, I thought we'd had the best time with him. It was the right time for both sides. And then Vards was Vards, wasn't he? You know, we played something like 33 games and got to 89 goals or something, didn't he?
When you're first watching Vardy up hand, obviously, again, a few years into your reign there, what was your first thoughts on him as this kind of, I think that Steve Kerr said he just literally turned up in jeans and a white t-shirt, ripped jeans. It's like, who is this? This is a footballer that's going to get us into League Two, the Football League. To see what he's going to undo, Premier League legend, you'd probably go and say now as well, wouldn't you?
Absolutely, yeah. And what I liked about Vards, when we played Leicester in the FA Cup, he came back and all the kids that wanted photographs and autographs and all this sort of thing, he didn't turn anybody down. You know, he got me in a necklock, I think, when he came back. But yeah, there was a side to him. I remember we played, I think it was Southport away, and I think Brodie had got sent off. And we were left with one striker. And I think that was the making of Vardy, because they had 4 back. They couldn't handle the one. And I just thought he was just so sharp, wasn't he? That first 5 yards.
Yeah.
There was a certain streetwise about him, let's say that. You know, he was a great player, but he knew how to leave feet in places very cleverly. But he'd definitely be part of my team.
Since he's left Fleetwood, he's probably gone on and done everything you wanted. He played in the Champions League. I think he's just shy of 150 Premier League goals. He might get there, but maybe just, I think he's on 140 odd now. You know, Premier League winner, FA Cup winner, done everything that you want. And you keep asking people around the football club at Fleetwood, are you surprised? And the answer is, no, not really. Because this is what we saw. This is what we saw for...
He was unbelievable. Yeah. Unbelievable.
Yeah, and I like the way every time, like a bit like Pond Diaz and players that we've had over the years, he stepped up at every time. Oh, he won't be able to do it at Championship level. He won't be able to do it at Premier League. Won't be able to do it at national level or Champions League level. But he just adapts. He's just Vardy, isn't he? I don't think he even changes anything. He just relaxes and be himself. 500 games, we mentioned. 500 more?
We'll see.
We'll see. Rod?
I'll just throw the caveat in. I'm still enjoying it as much as what I ever did do. I go back to saying, and this is very important with me, I want us to be the best, right? And I'm so lucky, you know, when I first started, I'd got a mentor in Scott Walker. Scott Walker took us to the next level. We've had other people, Sam, there's Jake, Ryan Dean took us to the next level. But a very, very important person that I thought was the start of this making us better, Sam Duffy.
Yeah.
Sam Duffy. And they've made our product, I call it a product because it is, they've made our product enhanced season by season. We're probably better now. Rob Paddock's come in and we've got the Rob Paddock Disco Light Show. We never ever dreamt about having a light show.
Yeah. His music choice at times, though, Rod, I think it's a bit poor. I always say to him, I think that there's some questionable ones, but there's some good ones in from Rob as well. But he's a good lad, and he's come in and done well.
Yeah, I just think it's. If you'd said to me when I first started here, we'll have this guy comes in and on a night-time game, we'd have lights flashing everywhere. You know, I didn't even know we'd got the capability of that with the stuff that we'd got. And what we do this season better as well. My wife is a big Nottingham Forest fan, and we go to Forest not regularly but occasionally. And the first thing that I do is I always listen to what the PA announcer does to say, is there anything there that I could do better, that he's doing better than me? Could I copy it? But also they've got the same screen as what we've got here. So the capabilities of that screen and our screen are exactly the same. And what they do this Robin Hood thing at the start of the game that raises the level. But we've got this season with us showing a bit of history that raises the level for me again this season.
Gets everybody in the mood as well, doesn't it, before the game? What would you say overall, to finish us off, would be your proudest moment?
Gosh. Proudest. Probably, it's a bit soft this, but my little granddaughter being a mascot for a game.
Oh, lovely. What game was that? I'm putting you on the spot there, aren't I? We can gut it out.
But the players were absolutely fantastic with her. So this would be either last season or the season before. I'm just trying to think of the players that were really good. The Batty was great with her. The centre forward that's now at Oldham.
Not Harrod. Joe Garner.
Joe Garner was brilliant with her. They made her feel very important. They knew it was my granddaughter, and I think they were a bit special to show a bit of appreciation. But you know, she went out on the pitch and trained with them, and she was waving to mum and dad, and just brilliant.
Yeah. Well, Rod, thank you for joining me. It's been nice to talk, and nice to go over the kind of last 15, 16, 17, 18 years with you.
Brilliant. Thanks for inviting me today.